Hello and welcome to another episode of Mother, Baby and Us.
Today we are going to go right back to the very beginning and talk you through what we would do if we were going to start over our business from scratch.
Something I thought about quite frequently when all of the mistakes were rolling in. But it's fine because we've made the mistakes for you.
We have. I was literally about to say that. Like, we've been doing this for 12 years now and we've made the mistakes. We know what we wouldn't do if we would start over again. And I feel like if somebody can like watch this and think, oh,
Let's skip that step
yeah,
and do something better, faster. What would I would have given for this podcast back in the day?
12 years ago.
Mother, Baby and Us. So, our first tip is always safety.
Yeah, like
It doesn't matter what we're talking about, it's always safety first.
I was going to say, we speak about this in like nearly every episode, but it's because it's the most important thing and
It's one of the most overlooked things in our industry. It's not regulated at all. And the amount of people be like, try this pose. And then they show people the pose. So unsafe, so dangerous.
and the thing that irritates me is I have to watch the video. When it comes up, I'm like, oh my God, no, they're not actually doing that. Oh my God, they are actually doing it. And then I'm giving these people
Watch time.
viewed hours. And I'm like, I don't want to give it to them. But at the same time, like, I can't take my eyes away from the screen thinking, like, how have you not hurt a baby before now? So safety is the absolute number one tip before anything else. There are loads and loads of free videos.
And we've gone into like safety slightly on our channel.
Yeah.
But like Kelly Brown does it so well. There's no need
go
for
to the goat. You don't need us. Go to the goat for safety.
Kelly Brown has got so many videos on baby safety.
Yeah. They're for free. You don't have to buy them. They're there.
Free resource.
That's what we did when we were starting out. We watched her. We watched loads of other people as well. But I think we got the most from hers anyway. And
we still go back and watch her safety videos now, even though we've like she's saying the same things. It's always good to refresh in your memory, like this is what you do, and this is why you do these certain things and do these certain checks every single time. So safety always.
Absolutely. And like even now we still do learning. We still update ourselves on things, not just with the safety side of things. We're always trying to learn and go to conferences and listen from other people, but if you don't watch anything else, just make sure you're watching the safety videos because that is the most important thing over everything.
Another thing that I wish I had joined sooner was Facebook groups. I don't know if they were a thing 12 years ago. They must have been. I just wasn't in the loop.
I don't know. I am part of so many.
Like every single one I can every time a new Facebook group comes up, I'm like, well, I'll join it. Because you never know what's going to get asked. It's not so much the trainers that are running the groups necessarily, because they do give a lot of information, and it is a lot of times like they are giving away free information that is quality, but they're always trying to sell you something as well. Like they're always trying to sell some sort of training or workshop or something, which is fine. Like we've all got to make a living, but I find the most value in those groups coming from random other photographers going, I did this today, what could I have done better? Or this client have said this, how can I like respond, and things like that. And everybody just gets together and goes, right, this is how I would do it.
Yeah. And like you'll see if somebody is posting like, this is what my client have said, how do I come back from this? You will have so many people giving their opinions on, well, I would say like this, I would say like this, make sure you get this in there. And then you take from that then what you need. Like we're lucky that we've got each other to
bounce.
Like if I'm writing an email and I'm like, this doesn't sound quite right, I'll read out loud to you and you'll tell me like if I need to move something around. But majority of people doing this, they don't have that, do they? No. So it's really good to be able to do that. CC on your images, like, you know, how many times have you been sat there staring at the screen and going, I've looked at this too long, come and have a look at it. Second pair of eyes, I've come over, I've gone, that looks a little bit like this, maybe move that there, put this here. Great. Like, but again, if you haven't got somebody that you're working with, stick it on a Facebook group. People love to give feedback.
And don't get me wrong, sometimes it's unsolicited and it does like turn into a bit of drama on the groups. But 9 times out of 10, like people are there to build you up, not bring you down.
Yeah.
It's only if you've like been horrible to your customer and they've gone, you've been really rude here, and they'll call you out for it. But at least you've learned something.
Yeah, don't be rude. But you just, sometimes you got to take things with a pinch of salt as well, because if you post an image because you think, oh my God, look at this cute baby and I've done a really good job, you'll put it up and somebody won't read that you just post in to say that you've done a really good job and you're proud of yourself. And they go, oh, well,
I would have changed this.
Your white balance is off, or that wrap doesn't look quite right, or why haven't you liquefied that? Like, you'll always have that, so you've got to take that with a pinch of salt.
It's opinion.
Yeah, it is opinion. But majority of it, I think is good. And you kind of build up a network of other photographers.
Yeah.
So if you do end up going to like photography conventions.
Like, we went to the conference when the newborn show was happening in Coventry all them years ago. We went there and we knew nobody.
Yeah.
Now we go and we're like, oh yeah, and we know people. Like, it's not from going to the conferences, it's from speaking to them online.
Yeah.
So it's nice.
It is, yeah. With the vendors and with the photographers and yeah, it's lovely. So yeah, definitely utilise those groups.
Anything with a free resource.
Yeah.
We're all for free resources, guys.
Absolutely.
It's just starting out. You don't need to be spending so much money. Like, if you've got money to be spending, like, book a workshop 1-to-1, like 1-on-1 workshops, like you're going to be flying in straight away. But if you're trying to do it on a budget,
there's so much free
resources out there.
Yeah. We got loads of tutorials if you want to go and watch them.
Link up above. Another free resource would be, on the kind of same scale, is baby and toddler groups. Now, obviously they're not photography centred, but if you've got children of that age and you can get in there as a parent, that's even better, because you get in on...
We had loads of people from I didn't do baby and toddler groups, that wasn't my thing. Abigail went to all the baby toddler groups, and we had loads of the other mothers from that group come interested in me after that.
Yeah. And because they know you on a personal level, they're like, oh yeah, go to Abby, she's really good. And they start recommending you, like, to their friends and their friends. And the people having babies always know other people having babies.
Yeah, when you're of the age of having babies, then all of your friends...
know somebody pregnant.
Yeah, all your friends have to be the same age.
It's just like a free loyalty scheme for you.
Yeah. And
they're not really getting anything out of it, but like, it's amazing.
Yeah.
Now, if you haven't got kids, that's a bit more difficult, because like, you can't just rock up to a parent and toddler group and be like, hiya. But you can offer to do a photo session from.
Yeah.
It could be a discounted rate because you're going to do the whole toddler group and it's like going to be bulk.
We did that.
Do it for free if like you really want to.
When they were little.
Yeah. We did the Christmas photos for the Mithrin. Yeah. So get in there that way. Get to know the people who are running the groups.
Yeah.
Offer a session at a discounted rate. Once they've had you once, 9 times out of 10.
Oh yeah, they'll book you again.
They'll keep booking you again.
Yeah.
And you don't have to keep going back to the play group. Like, you can say, oh, I'm too busy for that now, but you can still be booking the parents. The parents will still have your details and keep booking you for the sessions. And
I feel like that's easy for them then, because you've been there before and they know that it runs smoothly, and they know that you, especially if you've got kids there, like we did, it was just easy for them when they didn't have to organise anything. It was just, can you do the Christmas photos like I did last year?
Yeah.
Repeat bookings. Now, we don't do that anymore because we just haven't got the time for it, because it's like bedlam. But it's great when you're starting out, when you're building everything up.
Client-based, like, it's amazing.
100%.
And while you're there and you're in these networking groups and you're in the mother and toddler groups, build an email list.
Yes.
As soon as you start out, because that will be invaluable to you later down the line.
Yeah.
Everyone bangs on about social media. That's not going to be around forever, as we've seen when they go these outages and well, people just go in from one channel to another. You've got to keep building all these different channels. Just build an email list. Your customers literally will open every single one of them. They're so nosy. Like, our open rate is like, I can't believe it.
Yeah. And when we were in WPPI conference in Vegas a couple of months ago, and Facebook went down, didn't it?
Yeah, when I was in the email marketing class.
And like, the first thing everybody did, they woke up, they tried to get on Facebook. Nobody can get on Facebook, so open their emails. They need to open something and scroll.
Yeah, doom scrolling.
Yeah.
God, doom scroll.
As soon as you open your eyes, first thing you do, pick up your phone and then start scrolling. And if Facebook's not there, if Instagram's not there.
Yeah, and everyone did go to their emails, because we were sat in our email marketing. She's like, how many of you can open your emails now and look at your emails and see how many people have just gone, Facebook book is down, get on your email, get on our email marketing and get something sent out. And I was inundated. My inbox was like, oh, is your Facebook down? Oh, can you not scroll through Instagram? Have a look at this instead.
Yeah.
And that's all it was in your email list.
Yeah.
So you need to jump on it.
Oh, yeah.
Not necessarily for when Facebook goes down, but like, your mini sessions will sell out via email.
Yeah, before you've even advertised.
Quicker than your social media will sell them out.
Definitely.
And write a little newsletter telling people how busy you've been this month and what you've been up to. And
I love our newsletter.
Everyone loves a newsletter. Like we'll send our newsletter out on the 1st of the month, and I'll get text messages, oh, love the newsletter. I'm like,
we literally got asked yesterday, oh, when's the next newsletter out?
Yeah.
I mean, it's halfway through the month, so they're going to have to wait till next month. And
it's been 2 weeks, like, perhaps we should be like bi-weekly or something, but like...
I don't feel like we've got enough to talk about for 2 weeks.
People just love it, don't they? They just like, they like learning about the people behind the brand. So the more personalised you can make it, and we are very conscious that our personal Instagrams and stuff like that stay personal. They're not, like my Facebook is closed off to people who I'm not friends with, blah, blah, blah. But... people like to know, have a little bit of, oh yeah, but I do know them, I do know. So like your stories and your stuff like that need to be more personal, but email marketing is where you can just be like, this is us, guys.
Yeah. So this is what's happened. This is what we got going on.
And it builds that kind of rapport with your customers, and they feel confident in booking you straight away.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's always about the personal, isn't it? Like when they feel personally connected to you, they're more invested in your business. The next point is something that we still do now, which is...
I don't think I'll ever stop.
No, shooting for yourself. Now, in the beginning, that's like uber important. So building your portfolio, unless people can see your work, they're not going to book you. They're not. And however you do that, like in the beginning, you're always going to do it for free, and you like getting model calls and things, and you know, oh, so-and-so's just had a baby, do you mind bringing her in and I'll photograph her and you can have the photos just for me to practice. You got to get the practice in, because you're never going to nail the poses. You can watch as many YouTube tutorials as you want to, but you're never going to nail those poses unless you actually physically doing it. So you need the practice, you need to build a portfolio, but still to this day, we always shoot for ourselves, because we will have an idea in our head. Now, don't get me wrong, we've got to a point now where our clients completely trust us. And if we've got an idea and they don't know what they want from their maternity session, they're more than happy to go, well, I want it outdoors or I want it in the studio, but I'm happy for you to kind of run with it.
Yeah.
And
you can pick the colours, you can pick the theme, you can pick everything.
Yeah. And I mean, some people give us too much training. We're trying to do it at the minute and we got too many ideas. But if that happens and we get free reign, then that's great. But it can take a long time to get to that point, can't it? So in the meantime, if you have an idea and you want to shoot, just do it. Like, get the free ones in at the beginning and just keep shooting for yourself all the way through.
Not necessarily free. You don't have to do them for free. No. Because your time is obviously worth something as well. So do it for a discount rate if you're not comfortable doing it for free. Yeah. Like, people will still pay discounted rate.
Yeah,
usually.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
Yeah. And like, sometimes I feel like we shoot more for ourselves than our clients at certain points during the year, because obviously we need to shoot things for like YouTube, and then we've got...
And it's stuff like, oh, I've got this idea, but I don't know if it's going to work.
Yeah.
So let's not get let's not do it with a client. Let's get a baby in for half an hour.
Yeah.
Like, if we know a client's been in and the baby was great and whatever, we know, right, let's give them a quick ring and see if they want a couple of extra photos for, like, if they bring the baby in. I don't know how this will look, so let's try it out. And it's one of them, innit? You don't always have to shoot because you're doing something. It's, I got this idea, but I don't know how I want it to work. So let's try it, see what it looks like, move things around, try it again, move things around, try it again. It's one of them. It's like, until you've got it right in camera, you can't do it for a client. You can't, like, because that's going to take a long time to get it right. So to give it to a client, you've got to be like, all right, I know what I'm doing for this now because I've done it before.
Yeah.
So I think that's as important as well, is
absolutely
knowing that you're not going to get it right straight away every single time.
And we've got a stand-in baby now. I mean, they are very expensive and we couldn't afford one in the beginning. No. So now it's great. Like, if we want to practice something, we'll get a stand-in baby out. We'll practice the wrap. We'll practice the pose. We'll practice the lighting. And like, how many times we've gone, how do we get it like this? How do we... And we've got a stand-in baby. We've got everything out and we've done it. And we think, right, we've nailed that now. Like, we are happy to do that for a paying client. Back in the day, we had a rabbit, didn't we? With little arms and legs that you could fold in. And I used to practice my raps on a little teddy rabbit. But it's just, you just use what you got. If you've got something that is of the right size of a baby, practice your rapping on it, on teddies and or, you know, dolls. You don't have
It's not
to...
the same because
it's not the
way
same,
the
no.
standing baby is weighted and it's got movable limbs that move in the same way,
Yes.
and you can practice like the head tilt and everything, so you're not doing a safety. But until you get to the point where you can afford it, it's always use what you got. We are the queens of use what you have. You don't need to buy specific things just for the sake of it.
That rabbit did its job. Like I wrapped that rabbit.
That rabbit lasted like 7-8 years.
I know. I wrapped that rabbit. I learnt my wraps, and then we'd get a model call in. We'd have a baby, and I'd practice on the baby. And like now we are getting babies in for me to wrap, to film, to show other people how to do it, because I practiced and because I nailed it. And the more you do it, I feel like it's the little things, like, you know, if you're going to do like a bow on a baby, knowing how much fabric to pull through and where to position that bow. And like the more you do it, like you'll photograph, you think, oh, I could have, if we'd moved that a little bit. And we do that all the time, don't we? Yeah. Oh, if we just moved that slightly, but you know, for next time. And the more you do it, it just becomes second nature.
Yeah. And more to the point of use what you got, equipment.
Oh, absolutely.
Like I used that 6D.
Yeah.
Mark 1 6D for so many years until it was like, right, yeah, this is painful to use now, so I can't use this anymore. And then I went to a 6D Mark 2. And now I've got an R5, but I still go back to my 6D now and again when I need to.
Yeah.
Like, use what you got until our lights. We've literally changed our lights, like 2 weeks ago, something like that.
Yeah, and I mean...
And I've had them since day dot.
Because it literally broke to the point where we couldn't use it anymore.
3 lights I've had. I bought them as a kit.
Yeah.
12 years ago, maybe even more than that, actually. And I have used them day in, day out. I've travelled, like, the length and breadth of the UK with them. They've, like, come everywhere with me. And they finally... like died on me a couple of weeks ago.
Absolutely. Bit the bullet.
Like they've been slowly like a message now and again.
Yeah.
And then it was a bit faster coming through, and then it was like, oh, okay, this light is gone. I'll move that one over there because I don't really use that light over there. And then I swapped them around and I give them a bit of a break, and I was like, no, I've really got to buy new lights now. So I've bought new lights.
Yeah.
There's reviews on our channel. But
I feel like this is just going to be like
ding ding ding.
Yeah, little links everywhere.
But I used those lights until they were dead because they did the job. There was no need to buy any other lights.
We knew those lights inside out. We knew where they needed to be positioned. We knew, we just knew them. We knew how to get what we wanted to achieve using what we had. So you don't need the very best of everything.
I mean, a little bit of that, I think, was scared of change.
Because
I had that new light and I was like, I don't like it. But now I've used it for a full session. I was like, actually, no, this is fine. I like it.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you can't afford to buy brand new, don't buy brand new. Like, there are websites out there that you can buy used equipment.
MPB.
Yeah, like we've been to MPB. We've seen kind of how it all
operates. Their office, and they are amazing.
Yeah, we've seen how it all operates. And do you know what? There's people out there that have got more money than sense, haven't they? They have. They will buy the very best of all of the equipment. They will spend thousands and thousands, and they will use it once, and then they'll put it on a shelf. And then a couple of years down the line, they'll go, oh, I'm not even using that anymore. Let me get rid of it. And then you can buy that camera, a fraction of the price, it's been used once.
Half the time, it's not even like used on the line. They'll buy it, go, oh, I didn't really need that, can't bother to send it back, and then just sell it to MPB because it's easier than sending it back to the manufacturer.
Yeah, mad.
So it's like brand new in a box.
Yeah, it is, yeah. So, like, you don't need to be spending all of the money on everything. Like, all right, you need decent equipment. You can't do it on your iPhone. I mean, people try, but like, please don't do it on your iPhone. But you don't need to be spending for brand new equipment. I mean, don't get me wrong. We love it when we get a new piece of tech, don't we?
I love new equipment day.
Yeah.
But it's because it's very few and far between.
Yeah. And we'll always get excited when we've got a new piece of equipment because we will go years without, I mean, we've gone 12 years without lighting.
Yeah.
Well, we have bought lights in between, but
they weren't for the studio.
No, not our main studio lighting. But I think it makes it a little bit more special when we have a little delivery of something new to play with.
I love it.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, but you don't need it every day to be buying new equipment. And, I need to get this shot, so I need this lens. No, you don't.
No, use what you got.
That kit, I had a kit lens for... I want to say 10 years. No, it's less than that.
It couldn't have been.
8 years, I think I used a kit lens for before I bought a prime lens.
Okay, maybe don't wait 8 years before buying a prime lens, but like...
I mean, it does make a massive difference. It's lovely.
Yeah.
But I didn't need it because, like, our customers love their photos.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you know what I
But
mean?
I feel like that comes with, as you're like honing your skills and like you're building your brand and like people start like paying you decent money, and it all comes back into then like putting money back into the business.
Oh
doesn't
yeah,
it?
100%.
And that will come.
And if I had bought a prime lens, like when I first started, I'd been like, I haven't got a clue what I'm doing with this. Photos would have been shocking. It's because I built up like knowing how to use that equipment inside out, and I could make it look slightly more like a prime lens than I could have like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Because I could make that lens work to how I wanted it. When I got a prime lens, I was like, oh my God, this is so easy. Why didn't I change earlier? But I wouldn't have been able to use that.
No.
I would never have had the confidence to use a prime lens before.
And I feel like it's the exact same thing in terms of your props.
Oh,
now,
yeah, 100%.
Our back room, as we like to call it, we need to think of a different
Prop
name
room.
that's a little bit nicer than the back room. But it's where we store all of our props, and it has taken us 12 years to get to this point where we have every single colour under the sun, outfit, prop, flowers, hats, headbands.
Like nearly every customer will walk in that room and go, oh my God, wow.
Yeah.
And that's what you want.
Yeah, and we've just got cupboards and cupboards. And in our last studio, before we bought this place, we had a tiny little back cupboard, didn't we?
Yeah.
And we had so many props that were spilling out into the main
ridiculous.
studio, and we were having to find places in the studio to store things. But again, it's taken us 12 years to get to this. In the beginning, you don't need everything. No. Like you go with your neutrals, and there's always like a neutral of the moment. Like right now it's beige.
Oh, don't start on beige.
I like a bit of beige. Abigail does not. Before beige, it was grey when it like
everybody wanted grey.
I feel like I follow these trends because my house was grey at the time. My
it's not beige now, is it?
My bedroom's beige. Oh. I got a beige velvet bed.
Oh, I haven't got time for that. Carry on.
Yeah, so grey before that. So whatever the in neutral is at the minute, I would go with that as your base.
Yeah.
And then as much
always
as...
get whites.
Yes, whites. And as much as it pains me to say it, everybody always wants pink for a girl and blue for a boy. So if I was to do it again, that's what I would start with. Your neutral.
I think that's what we did start with.
Yeah.
Because, but we didn't buy them from prop sites either.
No.
We would buy like scarves from shops and
yeah.
stuff like that to make it a little bit different and
yes.
not... IKEA. I loved IKEA when I first started.
We still love IKEA.
Like not as much, but...
No, but we still go and buy like our flowers and, and like baskets, and there's always something in IKEA.
Yeah.
That's where we get our slippers for our customers.
Home Sense.
Oh.
It's always a really good one.
Home Sense is the one for baskets.
The problem with buying online for newborn props I love a newborn prop website, but it's really hard to get a feel for the materials and stuff like that. And I hate not being able to touch them.
And not only that, we've ordered beanbag fabrics that have come back and I've gone, that's not the colour I thought it was going to be.
And there's specific colours for customers. They come back and I'm like, well, that's no good now.
Yeah.
Like when we would go into a specific newborn photography convention, it was really good because we'd go with a budget and we would be able to buy however much we needed for the year because we were there to buy. Like we could feel everything and we could buy what we needed.
And we'd go the list, wouldn't we? We'd go out the back room and we'd go, right, this is where we're missing, you know, we could do with some yellow headbands, or, you know, we need some...
lilac.
Yeah, so...
We always need lilac, but I feel like we always buy lilac.
I feel like we always go with purples with the intention of buying lilac, and then we buy purples and think
they go deep, jewelly tone ones.
Yeah,
and they're really nice.
That's what we like. And everybody always wants lilac. Maybe start with lilac. And then we go with a list of what we needed, and then we buy it in bulk, wouldn't we? But that was because we knew to save money, to put it aside, because we knew we were going there and we get to feel everything and buy the things we wanted to. And you usually get a discount in shows and things like that. But in the beginning, stick with the bare minimum that you need, and then if you need to change your colour after, do it in Photoshop.
Yeah.
How many times have we changed the colours that we're still doing it now? Like we haven't got a gown in the exact shade to match something else in the image, so we get the closest we can and tweak it after. Like, how many times have a client come in and gone, oh, I love that gown, but I wish it was this colour. Let's shoot in that gown. Let's change it afterwards. Like, if we were to buy every single gown, every single colour, we'd be skint. I mean, we do buy a lot of gowns in a lot of colours, so like we are kind of skint. But
on that note, though, with beanbag fabrics and things,
yes,
what I found really helpful at the beginning was go into a haberdashery and go in, right, can I have 2 meters or 1.5 meters of this material, make sure it was stretching the right ways and everything. And it's usually a plain material, but I could get it out, I could stretch it, I could feel it, I knew that it was perfect. Can I have 1.5 meters of this, please? I'd cut the side off to make a wrap to match, and I'd have a £5 and I have beanbag fabric and wrap. And it's so much cheaper to do it that way than buy in specific beanbag wrap and fabric. And you'd always have a matching wrap and background then. So that was an easy way to get a lot of backgrounds quickly and cheaply.
And utilise people. If you know a knitter, get some.
Is that what they're called?
A knitter, people who knit. Get some wool. Say, do you know what? Can you do me like wraps and layers? Are so easy. These simple squares and rectangles. Do you know, like our mother? I was going to say she loves it. She don't love it.
Not anymore. She did.
No, she used to. She used to love knitting little bits and pieces for us. Now we're like,
start to get a bit more elaborate.
Giving her the really complicated patterns. She's like, I don't like this one. Can we make changes? No, that's what we want.
That is the pattern that I bought.
But utilise it. If you know somebody, if your nan knits and she's got nothing better to do with her time, give her some nice wool that you want to use.
So much cheaper.
Oh my God, it is.
I think we paid like £55 for a alpaca romper. That, to be fair, we use that romper every single session without fail. Yeah. And like that £55 has been made and then some out of that romper. But we have the exact same pattern off Etsy that cost us like a £5.
Yeah.
And the exact same wool, which is like £4 a ball, and it takes like 1.5 balls to make.
Yeah.
And we've got it in every colour now.
Yeah, we have.
And it's identical.
Much for our mother's frustration because it's the romper that she hates. Oh, but do they have to have legs? Because I don't like doing legs. Yes, a romper does need legs.
But yeah, like how much cheaper was that?
Yeah. Oh God, yeah. But
and we didn't mind paying £55 for it because it was beautiful. It was so like well made.
Yeah.
And it was really good quality. And if Mum wasn't knitting us stuff, I'd be paying £55 over and over again because it's made us so much money. But
we're just very lucky that we've got a mother who
she knits.
Yeah, she can do it. So utilise people.
I feel like it's not going to be for much longer.
Especially after the incident that we had last week where I put one of the rompers in the washing machine thinking that a 30-degree wash would have been fine, and then it came out. I
told you that. If you'd asked me for some advice, I would have told you don't do it.
So she told me that I'm not allowed to wash anything anymore because it was a hand wash only and now it doesn't fit anything.
Fit a knitting needle. That's about it. I don't understand how we went long and skinny rather than like shrunk.
I have no idea. I don't know what happened. But yeah, don't do that. But what I would always do is find out from your client what colours they're looking for. If it's something that you don't have, you've got your neutrals and your base colours. A client comes up to you wanting to book, I want purple. Okay, take the money from your session fee or however you're going to do it. Take that money in, put it back into the business. I mean, it's not great because you're not earning anything in the beginning, but
it's got to be done.
It has to be. So you take that money in, you use that money to buy the purples.
Or even a portion of it. Even if you use like half of it to put back into the business and keep half of it for yourself.
Yeah. And then next time somebody asks you for purple, you've got it. It's there.
Yeah. And for the session.
Yeah, exactly. And as much as you don't earn anything in the beginning doing it that way, you're still building up your props and your all of your bits and pieces.
It'll build so quickly. You won't even realise. One day you'll turn around and be like, "Oh my God, what am I going to do with all this stuff?"
Yeah, and then you got
on a daily basis.
a new issue of how to store it all.
Had a whole storage room built on the back of our shop to then fill it and go, oh no, we need an extension.
We've run out of room now, so the extension's full, so we now have to go up. Because we've just run out of room for all of our maternity gowns. To be fair though, they take up an awful lot of room because there's just so much material in there. So they need a room on their own. But anyway, digress. Yeah, definitely just keep adding it back in. And again, even though we've got that extensive collection at the back, we're still adding to it. We had a pre-session it's like a month ago now, where she wanted a very specific colour pink. And I was really shocked at the fact that we didn't stock anything of that colour pink. And now we have beanbag fabric, matching wrap. We've got
Bucket,
florals, romper, hat,
bow,
headband.
everything basically.
So now we've got it all. But we're at the point where we charge enough that we can do all of that. And it's fine. Like, it's investing back into the business, but we're still making money on it.
Yeah.
But again, we're 12 years down the line. In the beginning, you might not be
How
able to
many
do
years have
that.
we been doing this, Christy?
But we're still doing it. We're still investing in the business.
Oh,
Maternity gowns. Like, we're forever buying maternity gowns because...
We are quite good at de-stashing though.
Yes.
It gets to a point where I'm like, if I see that headband on another baby, I am going to kick off. Don't use it. And we de-stash it. Because I can't stand it.
Abigail just will de-stash all of our headbands if she can help it.
I would, yeah. Those new ones are lovely though.
Yeah.
But I'll eat them again in like 2 weeks.
Beautiful dried flower halos. Gorgeous. Smell like a farm though.
They did smell like a farm.
But
that's like, if you find that either you're using something too much, buy something else in the same colour or the same style or whatever, so you can change it up a bit. Or if you haven't used something for like however many months and it's a colour that you do use often, but they're just not picking that every time, de-stash it, get rid of it, make some money back, buy something else with it.
We love a cheesecloth. And when you find the right cheesecloth, because cheesecloth doesn't naturally have a stretch in it, but when you find one that's got a little bit of stretch in, my God.
When they have those really nice corners.
And like we've got a couple. As soon as we found a vendor that did them well, we went back and bought the colours that they had. Now, they didn't have every colour.
They didn't have hardly any.
No, they didn't. But we knew we loved it and we bought it in the colours that we could get it in. And yeah, if you find something that works, buy more of it. If it don't work, de-stash it, get your money back, buy something else. And I think that kind of goes into your pricing point, which is, it's like a big topic, like all of the time, innit? Like when you're first starting out, it's really hard to know where to price yourself.
When I first started, how many years ago was it, Christy?
12 years ago.
When I first started, I went to a lot of like business classes and things like that because I had never run a business before, obviously, and I didn't really know what to do. So I thought, right, well, I'll just go and just do general business. And the thing that every single class told me, or everything I read online, was find your competitors, your competition, know their businesses inside out, and like use that to your advantage. Now, to me, that seems like a massive waste of time. Like I took that advice on, and I did. Don't get me wrong, I did that, and I did know all my competitors. I knew what they were doing, but all that gave me was anxiety because I was like, well, I'm not doing as good as them. I'm not charging as much as them. I'm not doing this. I'm not doing that. They're getting to do this. What about they? What about like? And all I was worried about was what they're doing, not what I was doing. But like, you have to an extent got to know your competitors. Not competitors, because I wouldn't call them competitors. Your
I feel like we are different because most general businesses, they're buying and selling a product, whereas what we do is art. Like you can't really
experience.
It's an experience, it's artwork, it's going to appeal to some people and not to others. It can be like, at one point we were one of 3 photographers who photographed babies all on the same street. And this street, I'm not talking like a big London high street, I'm talking a very small village street, like where, you know, the one you could see through the front window. Like you could stand at the front of our studio and look into the other studio across the road. But we had very different styles, and there was a place for all of us, because as a client, you're either going to pick, you know, them for their style, us for our style. Do you know what I mean? It's not... So as much as it's nice to know who is out there, and you've always got to kind of keep an eye on what other people are doing to kind of stay ahead of trends and things like that. But at the same time, people will book you for what you were doing. So as long as you were doing what you love and creating artwork that you are proud of, people are going to book you for it. And
there will always be people that will book on price as well, which I get, and that's why you've got to know what your competition are doing and everything. But if they're booking on price and they're not booking you for what you're doing, like your artwork, then chances are they know your client anyway.
No.
You're not going to enjoy working with them because all they want is the cheapest of the cheap
photos. Yeah.
So, like, don't worry about them. Don't stress about them.
And then what you need to think about is, what is your cost of business? So once you've sat down and you've worked out what your overheads are and what it's going to cost you, you know, to spend an hour in the studio, or, you know, if you're working from your home or going to a client's home, and you've put all of your pricing in there and you've worked out what it's going to cost you to do that business, then you need to think about what you want to make. Like, you can put a small amount on top of that and just kind of tick over, or you could put a large amount on top of that and live comfortably.
How many clients do you want to see in a week? Do you want to see one client a week and be making decent money? So you put a lot on top of your cost of doing business, so that you can live comfortably and like have the lifestyle you want and wherever, and only see one customer. Or are you happy to do a couple more customers and
have a lower price point?
And be a bums on seat photographer. There's room for everyone.
Yeah, absolutely. So as much as, you know, Joe Blogs down the road is you know, doing free shoots, great. I hope they make money on the end product, because otherwise what are they doing it for? But at the same time, somebody else could be charging £1,000 for a sit-in, and, you know, as long as their work is to the level that they can charge that, and they've got clients who want to book them for it, good on them. Absolutely good on them.
Yeah.
So
don't worry about what other people are doing.
No, absolutely not. Work out your cost to do business. Work out what you want to make to put your profit on top, and that's what you charge. Don't worry about it.
I feel like they always say, don't they, the internet was the great equalizer, and it was literally like people in America. It took us doing like a mentorship and speaking to Karen in America, and she was like, we were like, yeah, but we don't live in America, so we can't charge that much. And she was like, I live in like such a deprived area.
Yeah.
Like, I live in wherever. There is no money in my area. But then the week after she did our mentorship, she was being flown to Hawaii or Barbados, or she was being flown to some
that little island
on a private jet by her client, all expenses paid, to do a family session.
Yeah.
She was like, it doesn't matter where you're from. It doesn't matter where you're doing your business. Just worry about you and what you were doing, and your clients will come.
And I feel like we are a prime example of that now, because the area that we live is a very deprived area. Like,
one of the most deprived areas in the UK.
I was very shocked when I saw a documentary on how an area very close to where we are right now is the most deprived area in the whole of the UK. I was like, I don't feel like it's that, but like apparently it is. So what we charge maybe isn't what a lot of people around here could afford, but we have a lot of people travel to us.
We do.
We've had people travel from other countries. We have travelled to other countries. It does matter to a point where you are, because if people can't get you, then it's different. But don't worry about who are around you, because if somebody wants to book you, they'll travel to you.
And we've had people who've gone, they're from this area, they're never going to be able to afford what they say and they're going to want to buy. They come in, they go, yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
Can I add this on as well?
Yeah.
There you go, it's paid. All in full, straight away, no qualms.
Yeah, and like, it's really surprising how many people there are that have got money, but they still live in the place that they grew up. So as much as we're in a deprived area, there are plenty of people with a lot of money around here, because it's where they were born, it's where they've grown up, it's where their family is, and they don't want to move anywhere else. So as much as the average person might not be able to afford it, there's still going to be people around here, and people will travel. They absolutely will, especially when it's something that they are going to treasure forever. That is a picture of their newborn baby that is going to be up on their wall, and they're going to be looking at that. Like, when they're 18, they're going to be using that photo to, you know, happy 18th birthday.
As the insurance company told us when we tried claiming for photos, you can't put a price on photos. I absolutely can, but I know what you're saying. Can you please write that for a testimonial for my website? Thank you.
Oh my God, yeah. I can't even think what I was saying now, because I forgot that happened. Oh, yes. So, what are we talking about?
I can't remember.
Price point.
Yeah.
People loving your stuff, and they'll come to you. They will come. Yeah. And as well as if they love your artwork, they will travel to you for the experience.
I think that's our biggest selling point. As much as people love our images, I went there and I had such an amazing time.
Yeah.
And they never talk, no, they don't never talk about the photos, but they say, oh yeah, I love the photos, but the experience meant so much to me. Like,
when we have feedback, it's always like, oh my God, I had such a good time. Like, I love being in the studio.
yeah.
And we've, again, another link, because we've done a full episode on customer experience, but we have spent so much time getting that part right, haven't we?
Yeah. I mean, a little bit too much, if I'm honest, because they never want to leave. Like, they'll come in for their viewing, and like, I'm like, okay, great. Like, we've got other customers, you need to leave. They'll have a cup of tea and they'll be just sat here talking about absolute rubbish. I'm like, this is great, you need to leave.
I had a pre-session consultation not so long ago with a client who, their baby's only 6 months old. This is their third session since this baby has been born. And we were sat out the back room and we sat with our cup of tea, and it literally took us 10 minutes to go through what she wanted, because she knew what she wanted. She told me what she wanted, and that was that. And then we were still out there like an hour later. Abigail came out to find out what was going on, because a pre-session normally only takes 20 minutes, half hour. And like an hour later, I was like, I wonder what was going on. We sat there just talking about life. And I feel like a lot of mothers need that, don't they? Where they got a new
100%.
baby, they just want adult conversation. But it was lovely, because like, I feel like we're friends now, because like, I see more of her and her child than I see my own child, I think. So
He's always here.
yeah,
It's lovely though. She can come anytime she wants. She's
oh,
a little angel.
absolutely. Yeah, she is. Yeah, and you find that, you know, as soon as like you've made that connection with that client and they've had that experience, they'll book again and they want to come back and they want to come back. And how many times have we said?
She said, didn't she? She was on our Instagram flicking through our stories. She's like, oh, I'm really sad that she's too old to have a session.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, she can come whenever she wants. Oh, can she? Okay, great.
Yeah, and then back in she was. Yeah, so I think the customer experience side of things, go back and watch the full episode on customer experience, because there's so many things that you can implement that don't need to cost anything, especially in the beginning, that will make such a difference. And it took us so many years to find out the hard way of...
How many years would you say it took?
I'm going to poke him in the eye now. But it took us so long to get to that point, making the mistakes that we did and knowing what works and what doesn't. If you can implement that right at the very beginning and get customer service nailed, like, you'd bypass so many years of making
mistakes.
And you know, trying things out, and because it is all trial and error in the beginning. And like, I think you nail your customer service and people will come back.
Oh, 100%. You got repeat customers over and over again, and they'll tell, more importantly, they'll tell their friends and family how amazing the experience was, and then you've got your own, again, loyalty scheme going. Yeah.
Like, photos, like, once they've had their images, they're going to post them somewhere, people will see them and think, oh yeah, that's cute. But if they've had an experience that they can talk about and they say, oh my God, do you know, I went in there, they've got like an entire room that's got like all of these props, and like, she pulled out the drawer and I told her I wanted pink, and she opened the pink drawer and there were so many things for me to choose from, and you know, and everything else that goes with there. And when I went in to choose how I wanted to have my images printed, we sat down with a cup of tea and we went through every single image on its own, and we looked at all the different ways we could print, and I designed my album with them, and I chose my fabric and my colour and my, you know, you sit there and you feel the different textures of the fabrics, and it's something to talk about. They're not, you know, send an email, can I have a photo of my baby? Yeah, no worries, come in on this day.
Here's your online gallery.
Yeah.
You can choose this many.
Tell me what you want. Yeah, like, it's having tangible things to hold and look at, and yeah, it's the whole, everything that goes along with that. And a cup of tea and a biscuit, they love that, don't they? When they come out with
time. Do you want a cup of tea or coffee? Oh, yeah.
And they come out with a Biscoff. Oh, I love a Biscoff. Everybody loves a Biscoff.
Apart from me, tamping, and I haven't got biscuits to eat.
But yeah, go and watch that, because there's loads of little hints and tips on there. And that, I think that is what elevated us in the end, when they're getting that right.
Yeah.
Brings us to today.
So this is the part where we get a question from the listeners and watchers, viewers, what we call them. I don't even know.
The people that listen to us talk about stuff.
Today's question is via email. So producer Nick is going to read it out for us.
How do you handle client feedback and revisions after delivering the final images to your customers?
How do we handle client feedback and revisions after delivering
the final images?
The final images. Okay.
I mean, the easy answer is we don't usually have revisions.
I don't feel like we've ever had. I mean, apart from like back in the day where, I mean, we touched on this in a previous episode where we had that client that wanted a colour and then came in and changed their mind about the colour.
Oh, yeah.
And then came in afterwards and wanted a different colour. But
Let's link another episode while we're here, like the red flags episode. We'll chuck a link on it.
But I feel like as a general rule, I don't feel like we've ever had delivered final product and then they've come back and said, oh, you know, had anything negative, if I'm honest. But I feel like it's because we spend
so much time designing everything to make it perfect.
Yeah. So when a client comes to us and asks for a session, we start with a phone consultation to get...
We start with the contact form. So you get information off that contact form.
Yeah, they fill out the contact form. Then I call them and I go through things and get a bit more information from them, give them a little bit of information about how it all works. Then they come in for a pre-session consultation where we plan the entire session. We go through everything, so that we know when they come in, everything is what they want. Then we've spent time with them in the session.
Before they start the session, we say, right, this is what we're going to do. We walk through the session beforehand and say, is there anything you want to change now? Because we'll change it now. And 9 times out of 10, they go, no, I love it.
Yeah.
And then when they come in for the viewing session,
that's where we sit and we design what they have in with them. So I get all of the swatches out and I get all the samples out and we go through everything and all the different options you can have. And because they're designing it with us, it leaves very little room.
And then once if they're having a physical product, once it's designed, a proof goes off to them at first as well.
And they sign off the proof before it goes to print.
And then we make sure it comes to us, gets delivered to us. So we, as long as obviously the printer's quality check it, but then we double quality check it, wrap it all ourselves, and then give it to the customer. So there's very little room to have things go wrong. Yeah,
but back in the beginning, where we didn't kind of do all of those things, and our client experience wasn't what it is now. There were odd times, and I feel like depending on what it is, would depend on how you deal with the situation. Because if it's something like, oh, well, I don't like their outfits and I wish they were in something else, I mean, that's nothing that you've done as a photographer. So at that stage, I think you just need to be really
straight.
Yeah, really upfront with your client and say, look, I was going to say I'm sorry. Don't ever apologize if it's not your fault. Unfortunately, your outfit choice wasn't something that I had input in, because we didn't at that point. They chose their own outfits. We don't do that now. We make sure we have input in the outfits. That's not something that I can change. And, you know, there's not an awful lot you can do at that.
Don't refund them because it was their choice.
Absolutely not. You need to make sure that you're being very, I don't want to say stern, but like you gotta
stick to your guns.
Yeah, definitely. Don't back down.
Because some people are just chancers and they're like, oh, I don't really like them anymore. Let's see if I can get another free shoot or whatever.
Yeah.
Don't do it. It's not your problem.
No.
If they want to pay for another session, great. If they don't, then actually not great, because they're probably going to complain about the next one. So
I was going to say, if you want to make a bit more money out of them, then get them in for another session. They can pay for another session. But I mean, those type of clients don't want back in again, do you? But
if it's something that you could have changed and it's something you've done wrong, then you 100% need to do something about it.
Yeah. So if it is, I don't know, think of something that could have gone wrong.
I have literally no idea.
Maybe if you're not proofing things. So if you don't kind of sit and go through your colour options for your album, and then you don't send them a proof of that album before it goes to print, and you just talk about, I want like a pale pink and I want a velvet and, you know, I want these photos. And then they come back and they don't like the material, or then I would probably say then that's when you need to kind of intervene and maybe think, right, okay, so what it is you don't like about it, and then go back and look at your...
And it's always good to ask the customer, what would you like to happen right now? Like, what would be your ideal outcome?
Yeah.
Because they could be just asking for like something really simple, like not even asking for anything at all. They could be just saying, look, I didn't really like this, but like I understand that's what we've got now, so just for future reference, perhaps you should do this. But like, or something like, I don't even know.
You just take it on board and then you implement the changes so that doesn't happen again. Like when we've had things that have gone wrong, we think, why has that gone wrong? How do we stop that from going wrong?
I got one. So there was somebody ordered a print.
Yeah.
But the print she ordered was a cropped size, not the full frame size.
Yeah.
So it had to chop off, obviously, feet before heads, because I couldn't chop off the head. She didn't understand the crop ratios, so didn't realise that when she ordered it, it was going to chop off feet. So when she came in and I explained all that to her and took the time to go, right, well, this is crop, so you are going to look like, that's why you've lost this. Because she was like, can you just print it in a different way? I'm like, yeah, but it's not going to fit the frame you've chosen. Blah, 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 blah. When she understood, she went, oh, that's fine. I'll just keep this one. I'm fine with that. And she was fine with it. So it didn't cost me anything other than 10 minutes of my time to go, right, what's wrong? What can I do about it? How do you want this to be rectified? This is why this has happened. And then she was like, oh, I completely understand. That's my fault. I was like, it's not your fault because you don't know what you don't know. And you obviously didn't know that was a different ratio. But again, I don't mind reprinting it, but we need to pick a different photo or something if you want the full body and whatever. And she was like, oh no, it's fine. That's great.
Yeah.
And she walked away happy.
Yeah. And I feel like a lot of the time, things can be taken out of context when it's written.
Yeah.
So in emails, don't text clients because just, I hate texting clients. I'm going to do it if I need to. But in an email, you can write something and how you were reading it and how you were typing it could be completely different to how they perceive it the other end. So they could read it and think, are they being funny? Are they taking it in a completely wrong way? So get them on the phone. It's so much easier to explain something if what that client has received hasn't lived up to expectation. Get them on the phone or get them into the studio and explain it to them, actually speak to them, because like you said, it could just be something as simple as they didn't understand how that was going to turn out. And that can be really easily rectified.
Yeah. And now we explain to people,
this
product has got a crop of this. You will lose X, Y, Z.
Yeah.
Are you happy with that? Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
Or no, can I pick another photo? Yes,
we
absolutely.
print a certain product that will either be in portrait, or if it's a landscape image, it's cropped to square. So that's a prime example of when they come in, if they choose to have that display piece, then we will explain to them, okay, so this is going to be cropped square. What I would go for is maybe look at these types of images rather than these ones, because these are not going to crop. You're going to lose a lot of that image and then just not going to look good. And if you're taking the time to do that, when they receive that product at the end,
you've managed their expectations.
Exactly. They know what they're expecting and they know it's going to look good. The same product, actually, we had a client that had 3 images printed side by side, and she asked them in a specific order. Now, when we went to place the order, I said, why are we printing them this way? Because it looks so much better if we swap these 2 images. It would just flow so much better. Sent that to the client, a proof. This is what you requested. This is the order you requested in. This is what my recommendation would be. I feel like it flows a lot better. She come back, oh my God, yeah, do it that way. And when she came to collect it, she's like, she opened it up. She went, oh, look at that. That looks so much better. I'm so glad you reprinted it this way. I know what I suggested. But it's just open communication, making sure your client is understanding the process and why we're doing these things, and just getting your customer service right. And if your client experience is nailed,
showing your expertise in the field, innit?
Yeah.
I know what I'm doing because I've done it for so long. This is what we think you should do. And every time they're like, yeah, that does look better.
Yeah. And once they see it from your perspective, they're like, oh, yeah, that does make sense.
This is why I'm paying you so much.
Yeah, we've been doing it a long time. 12 years.
Thank you for watching and listening to another episode of Mother, Baby and Us.
If you were just starting out, let us know exactly where you are in the comments. So we are based in South Wales and we'd love to know where you are starting your photography business.
If you have a question for another episode, don't forget to drop us an email at motherbabyus@gmail.com.
Or comment below. We'll see you next time, guys.
Bye. Mother,